The Mayan civilization in its peak was probably the most civilized, the most sophisticated and self-confident civilization on the planet. They had incredible mathematics, they had a sophisticated calendar, they did astronomy, they could predict eclipses. But probably one of the most remarkable things about the Mayan civilization was around about AD 900, the population went from around about 22 million to only a few 100,000 in just over a generation. The civilization collapsed for reasons that are still under some debate, but the archaeological evidence points very strongly towards the underlying cause of the collapse of the Mayan peoples was the fabric of the civilization. And when I'm talking about the fabric of the civilization, I'm talking about their soil. Motivated a little bit by the fact that despite their incredible sophistication and the mathematics and their ability to predict things like, incidentally, the world is going to end on the 21st of December 2012, according to the Mayan calendar, I took it upon myself around about 10 years ago to figure out how long we've got with our soil. And guess what? Well, we're in a very similar position to the Mayans. We have around about, at least according to my very rough calculations, around about 50 years of topsoil left on the planet, which is a pretty stunning fact. And so I set on a journey, a quest, to try and figure out what it is that keeps soil alive. And one of the things that we must understand about soil is it's absolutely full of life. If you pick up a piece of, just a handful of soil and hold it in your hand, your habitat is not random. The fact that we can fly through it like this, the fact that this pore space is all connected, means that something is organizing soil at the scale of the microorganism. So we tried to figure out what that might be. And not surprisingly, perhaps, we found out that it's the microorganisms themselves that are organizing soil. And we did some clever computing and mathematical modeling, and this is an example of one of these models where we looked at how microbes distribute themselves in the habitat space. And what we found was that where the particular site in soil is a really good place for microbes to live, they cover the surface like this. This is a fungal mycelium, it covers the surface, and this protects those habitats from being degraded. Where the sites are not so good, that doesn't happen, and those sites get degraded. So over time, the best sites win over the bad sites, and soil is continually in a state of self-improval through this interaction between microbes and structure. So where does the energy come for all of this? All of this reorganization, moving stuff around, takes energy. Well, the energy comes from the sun, but because soil is a dark place, it comes from the sun via plants. Plants catch carbon. Carbon flows through the plant. Around 20% of that carbon goes out through the roots into the soil and feeds the microbes. The microbes get their energy. They need to do all this great stuff to make soil do all the stuff that we depend on to do from carbon. And all we need to do is find ways of getting carbon from the atmosphere, where there's too much of it anyway, back into the soil, where we've been steadily removing it for the last 50 years or more. So the solution to all of this, and there is a solution, is that as well as thinking about how we're going to feed the world in the future, we must first feed the earth. That's not the whole solution, of course. We need to deal with poverty, we need to deal with starvation, we need to deal with the overconsumption of food, which puts more and more pressure on our soil than is absolutely required. But if we deal with that overconsumption, that just helps soil. And the bottom line is, if we've got healthy soil on our side, everything else we can manage. Thanks very much. Thank you.
Mass evacuation alert, one of world's most dangerous volcanoes threatens to blow. January 23, 2016. Thousands of people living by one of the world's most dangerous volcanoes have been put on evacuation alert after the monster peak began spewing toxic gas and ash. The Popocatépetl volcano, just 35 miles from Mexico City and only 20 miles from nearby city Puebla, sent a mile-high plume of ash into the air, putting thousands of people living within 10 miles of it on a yellow alert to be ready to evacuate should activity increase. The Mexican capital is the world's fourth most populated city and home to 20 million people, while Puebla has more than 6 million people living there, and all could be at risk in both sites in the event of a catastrophic eruption. The volcano alert follows fears earlier this month that a second large volcano in Mexico, the 3,850 meters high Colima in western Mexico, could be about to face a large-scale eruption for the first time in 100 years. Popocatépetl last saw a major eruption in 2000, but early warnings saw 41,000 people evacuated in advance, averting a major disaster. I will leave links in the description box. Thanks for watching. Be safe and God bless you all.